This is the conclusion to the old perk video that I just posted. As I've been saying, it's part of the old commentaries that I found on my prior laptop just before I upgraded the motherfucker. Now, as I mentioned in the prior video, this series was done in December when the game was new, so obviously it's outdated 4 months later. You know, my initial plan was to post these around a month or so after the game released, but you know, shit happens. And I only found them a few months late, but you know what are you gonna do? The content is still good, the comedy's still there, and it still allows me to use some of all this fucking ghost footage that I have until that damn Destiny beta comes out. Now, when I posted up the first video, I said that I found 4 old videos. However, I'm only going to post up 3 of them, and this will be the final one. The 4th one was actually about extinction, and it would have been real cool to use since I haven't actually done a full extinction video yet. But the content is just far too old to actually use. You know, unlike these 3 videos that discuss the theoretical merger of Infinity Ward and Treyarch, and these 2 videos discussing the perks, the Extinction video discussed what ideas Infinity Ward could use for future DLC. And since 2 DLC packs have already been released with Extinction content, it really doesn't make too much fucking sense posting up that video when there are only 2 more packs remaining. So, if I do an Extinction video, it's going to be something completely different with completely different content, because obviously that one was really outdated. So there's no reason for me to post up something that is that extraordinarily outdated. So, kick back, relax, enjoy the final part of my perk video, and since I didn't forget, hey YouTube auditor, fuck you. To continue on from yesterday's video, we're just going to jump right into the next 3 categories of perks, and we're going to start with one that I would call legit. Shit that you can actually say is something a soldier can do or learn with enough training and whatnot. You know, they don't actually fall into any of the bullshit categories, so we're going to classify these motherfuckers as legit perks that a human being can use. Extra tactical and extra grenade. Completely legit. Let's say a soldier plans on clearing out buildings, or he needs to get hostages out of a holdup. They're probably going to take some extra tactical grenades and extra regular grenades if they plan on clearing out buildings and shit like that. I know for me, I'd want a shitload of grenades if I needed them. The fuck, you think I'm just going to walk into a building not knowing what's on the other side of that? Man, bitch, please, give me a grenade. I'll find out the quick way what's on the other side of that fucking door. These are 2 perks completely legit that any soldier would use. Extra attachments, completely legit. Have you guys ever seen how many attachments the soldiers actually have on their guns when they roll out? Motherfuckers have sights, grips, noob tubes, long barrel, silencer, all kinds of shit. Think about it. You're told, here is a gun with 1 attachment, and here is a gun with 8 attachments. I want the 8 attachments, motherfucker. Don't give me this purist bullshit about marksmanship and all that shit. If I have a noob tube and you don't have a noob tube, guess what the fuck I'm firing at your ass? You're damn right. I'm fucking noob tubing your ass. Don't give me that bullshit. Extra attachments are completely legit. Now, while we're on the subject, so is fully loaded. My aim sucks, so I need all the extra bullets I can get. And since I ain't going over to that dead body and pulling all the guns out of his hands, I'm taking extra ammo clips just in case. Fuck that shit. If I need 6 extra ammo clips, that means I'm going to be killing 6 extra fucking people. Fully loaded is 100% legit. Now, each one of these was really equipment related, but there are 3 perks that I would also consider legit. 1 is on the go. Reloading your gun at the speed of light is bullshit. That's a perk made for convenience, and we talked about that already with sleight of hand in the prior video. However, reloading your gun at the speed of light is bullshit, and that's a perk that was inconvenience, like I mentioned before with sleight of hand. There's only a few people in the world that are actually able to teach themselves how to reload that fucking fast. On the go is a bit of a different story. It's not the speed at which you reload your gun, but it allows you to reload and run at the same time. Although soldiers are not recommended to do this, they do learn how to do it under pressure situations. So, I would have to say that this is actually a legit perk because it is something that can be learned and taught by almost any soldier in any army, how to reload your gun on the run if you need to in a pressure situation. Ready Up is another perk that needed some debate, and there's a distinction on between what Ready Up does from Quick Draw. Quick Draw is the ability to bring your gun up to sight, while Ready Up removes the delay at which it takes your gun to fire when you're running around. Not aim and fire, but be ready to hip fire if needed. In other words, it's a reflex. It's not dependent on your eyes focusing on a sight or how quickly you could get the gun in the firing position. It's how quickly your instincts are in getting a shot off after running. It's completely different. Basically, this comes down to how you can train your instincts to move quicker. And the answer is yes, you have the ability to do this. So, Ready Up is a legit perk. And speaking of running, Marathon was a hard one to choose from. On one hand, the military goes through rigorous strength and endurance training, which requires them to run a shitload of miles like motherfucking Forrest Gump. Run, Forrest, run! No, there's no question you can train a human body to run for absurd distances and increase your stamina. I have no doubt about that. But with 50 pounds of fucking equipment and running full speed for a whole match. You know, to me, that's a bit extreme. I know military personnel are some of the fittest people in the world, but running all out, full speed without stopping is borderline superhero shit. However, I'm going to give humans the benefit of the doubt on this one, because if someone is shooting bullets at me, I'm hauling ass. I don't give a fuck if I have a broken leg, if I'm carrying Jabba the Hutt's fat fucking ass. That adrenaline is going to get you moving. So I'm going to consider Marathon a legit perk, since these people who have to run and carry all this shit and all this equipment probably do more so than any average human. So I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on Marathon, and that it's a legit perk. The final two categories have to deal with absolute bullshit. And the first one we're going to talk about is video game bullshit. Stuff that can only happen in a video game, whether it's Call of Duty or any other video game where the laws of physics are completely ignored so that players can feel more powerful. A perfect example of that perk is ICU, the ability to regenerate health quicker. Well, aside from hardcore modes, when somebody shoots you with a bullet, you don't heal quickly, let alone at all. You don't need to take 5 seconds to catch your breath. You're slowly dying out and you're slowly bleeding out. Video games have regenerative health, and now a perk that allows you to heal quicker. That right there is definitely some video game bullshit that exists in almost every single video game possible. Off the grid and wiretap go hand in hand. Video games provide us little radars to tell us where enemies are, what the maps look like, etc., etc. Unless a soldier is able to bust out Google Maps on his smartphone in the middle of a fucking battle, you don't have a radar telling you the location of all the enemies in your area. You certainly don't have that shit in a heads-up display either. These two perks can go in any video game when it comes to the radar usage when you look at your HUD screen. These perks are easily video game bullshit. Deadeye is certainly something that can only happen in a video game as well. Bullets can do extra damage as long as you kill more people. What the fuck? So let me get this straight. As long as a soldier can go on a massive kill streak, there is a chance his bullets will get stronger as he goes along. You know, is this some kind of like trolling joke or some shit? Hell, that shit is not happening anytime soon. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. That right there is the pinnacle of bullshit that can only happen in a fucking video game. Danger close is another one. There is no question humans can build a bigger explosion. You can add more gunpowder, you can add an extra stick of dynamite to something, or you can totally piss in someone's Wheaties for the day and go nuclear. However, there is no perk that makes a radius of your explosion bigger with the same device. None. A grenade will have the same explosion more or less unless you make a bigger grenade. Same with a Semtex, IED, and bullshit C4. And anyone who knows how C4 works knows that this is some serious video game bullshit to begin with. You can only get a bigger explosion by making a bigger device. More ingredients, more explosives. Thus, if you wanted a more powerful Semtex, you would need a bigger size Semtex. That's just how it works. There is no perk that will make the radius bigger other than making a bigger device. So, this is just video game bullshit. You cannot have the same size device with a bigger explosion. It's just not fucking happening. Next is Blast Shield. Y'all ever seen the movie The Hurt Locker? Do you know how much shit a person has to wear to survive a basic bomb threat? And even then, there's no guarantee they survive. Unless you throw on a juggernaut shooting shit like that, there is no way you're going to survive the explosions in the game with just a perk. It's just not happening. When that rocket launcher thingamajig gets fired your way, you better have a fucking tank in front of your ass to absorb that blow. Because there is no perk that will prevent that shit from blowing your ass into chunks and pieces. There is a suit that may do it, but there's no perk that you're just gonna run out with some regular ass clothing, some regular gear, and say, oh, this grenade is not gonna blow me up, this RPG is not gonna fuck my day up. Not happening. That's video game bullshit right there. Finally, we have tactical resistance, the ability to block out effects of a special grenade. You know, in theory, you could walk around with some NASA-engineered earplugs and radiant wear goggles and shit like that, and some of those effects will be worn down. But in certain special grenades, they go beyond just what your eyes and ears can tolerate. Some will affect the liquid in your ear, the liquid that allows you to balance your body regardless of earplugs and protection. Tactical resistance falls in line with Blast Shield. No perk is going to protect you from real-world shit intended on specifically targeting a particular part of you. For that, this falls into the category of video game bullshit. And that leaves the last category only in fucking Call of Duty. Shit that can only happen in this fucking game because no other game is stupid enough to add shit like this. Let's start with Incog, which sole purpose to exist is merely to counter the imaginary cheap shit this game has. You know, how a thermal scope can recognize an enemy with perfectly outlined color. Doesn't do that to a teammate. But this perk makes them not glow. Yeah, totally fucking legit shit right there. This perk exists because Call of Duty adds bullshit to their games, and to significantly reduce the bitching of the community, we have something to counter that bullshit. Incog is the best example of that. Thermal scopes do not work the way Call of Duty portrays. So, to counter that effect and the fact that thermal scopes are bullshit, we need a perk to counter that bullshit. Only in Call of Duty do you have bullshit on one side, bullshit on the other side, and call that shit legit. Takedown is straight up Call of Duty bullshit. People die and have a fucking skull over their dead body, right? Because walking around the damn streets, you just see imaginary skulls all around this motherfucker, don't you? This is definitely an only in fucking Call of Duty perk, because the mere fact that you have to remove imaginary skulls just sounds like a load of bullshit. For those of you into poker, we have Gambler, the ability to have any of these perks in the game. Seriously? Does this just not scream Call of Duty? Hey, spawn in with any fucking perk you want in any fucking category. Yep, only in Call of Duty. Then we have the two that affect only your kill streaks, Hardline and Blind Eye. If nothing says Call of Duty more than an endless supply of vehicles and rewards for getting your kills, I don't know what does. Hardline allows you to get your shit quicker. Blind Eye allows you to avoid other people's bullshit. You know, because other games before Call of Duty never heard of shit like this before. But now, every game has to copy this crap. This shit started because of Call of Duty 4, and these two perks are used because the damn game is defined by its kill streaks. So, they fit perfectly into this category. Ping! What the fuck? Am I in a submarine? I mean, let me get this shit straight up in this bullshit. Kill the motherfucker, and that indicates there's someone next to him. Now, let's try this in real life. Kill the person next to you right now. I mean, really, just go over and chop their fucking head off. See if there's a ping that shows a friend is close by to them. I'll bet you any amount of money there will be no ping next to that dead person. And for those of you who listen to me and actually chop the motherfucker's head off, please go bury the dead body where someone won't find that shit and get your ass in trouble. This is another perk only made for Call of Duty, where enemies' deaths automatically gives away their teammates' position. No other game has that bullshit, only Call of Duty. The final perk of this whole mess is Stalker. Now, I debated about putting this in either superhuman or video game bullshit. You know, you're giving someone the ability to aim down sight and move much quicker at the same time without fucking up their vision. To me, that's borderline superhuman abilities, and it's borderline video game bullshit that other games would introduce. But then, I realized why those two categories wouldn't fit. This is the kind of shit that only Call of Duty would think of. Think about it. This isn't completely superhuman speed or reflexes. This is just the ability to aim and move at the same speed you normally would when you're hip firing. It's not that it's video game bullshit, because no game is stupid enough to come up with this nonsense. It's not superhuman because you're not actually moving faster. You're just moving at normal speed that you normally would with a hip fire. It is perfect for the only in Call of Duty category of perks. And there you have it. All 35 perks reordered, reclassified, and correctly placed into categories that they actually belong. See, this is why the Call of Duty developers need to add me to the development teams, because I was straightening out all their shitty ideas. So anyway, as always, rate, comment, subscribe, and all that good shit, and I'll see you guys in the next video.